I am one of the project managers for Lifelong Elizabeth. And today we are here to celebrate something pretty exciting. We are going to become the 7th city in the state of New Jersey to have an AARP age-friendly designation. I joined the Lifelong Elizabeth team on April 5th, 2016, which was exactly 2 days before we launched our survey. So we had a survey that went out to older adults in the city of Elizabeth, in both English and Spanish, and we heard back from over 200 residents. And after that, in some focus groups, we had a goal. We had a goal to try to make a difference for those older adults who've decided to stay in Elizabeth. So I'm just going to tell you a little bit about what we've accomplished in the past 2.5 years. We were blessed to be honored on the Mayor Show twice. We went on his show twice to talk about our program. We, with the help of Trinitas, the City of Elizabeth, the Teen Tzedakah Board, and the Elizabeth Rotary, were able to print 5,000 bilingual transportation guides, which was the first bilingual guide the Rutgers NJ-TIP ever produced. And those are still out and about in the city. We distributed over 3,000 now. We made 600 safety vests, and in conjunction with the Elizabeth Police Department, we've now given 7 safety vest presentations to older adults. One of them actually right here in this space, thanks to the library, with over 60 older adults about walking safely at night. We had a resource guide that went out to older adults on how to contact other people within the city who can help them fix their homes. We have an awesome website, which you can visit anytime. And we also held, in conjunction with the City of Elizabeth, 6 senior safety days at senior centers over the past 3 years, where we've reached over 400 older adults and just gave them ideas on safety, everything from how to keep your food safe and eat well, fall safety, senior scams. So with all the partners we have, we've really done some great things. And I've personally been fortunate. In the past year, I've been joined on the Lifelong Elizabeth team by 2 partners, and I'm going to introduce one of them to you now. Her name's Margaret Ames, and she's going to tell you a little bit about what we now have going on for the next year. Thank you.
Hi, as Jill said, my name is Margaret. I come from a background as a social worker working with older adults for over 10 years. And I came into this seeing on an individual level and on a macro level the demand and preference for aging in place. That's why I came to work in the age-friendly communities, and I'm just thrilled to be working with Carlos and Jill and coming into this program that she's had a great launching over the past 2 years. And I'd like to tell you about some of the things we're planning for year 3. She mentioned that we have a wonderful partnership here at the library, and we thank that team. We have Allie here today with us, and Nancy and Mary Faith, the director. They've not only given us this wonderful venue to use for many of our events, but we're working in programming and development for events focused for older adults. We have a lecture series. Today's the kickoff. On the 23rd, we're also having AARP back to educate the public about what an age-friendly community is, so we can not only celebrate today, but let them know what this is and what we're doing in the community. We also started an intergenerational program. We just launched it this past month. It's called Tween Zone Plus. Sometimes tweens are a little bit of a forgotten age group, so it's been interesting seeing them come together. We plan to also work with Groundwork Elizabeth and furthering our intergenerational efforts. We've also gotten an opportunity to work with grad students at the Rutgers Blaustein Planning Studio. We have a class this fall where we're working with students, bringing them to one of the Housing Authority buildings at Farley Towers, and we're helping bring the students together with the senior residents there, discussing the outdoor space and what design suggestions we can make to them, to the city. Hopefully they'll be implemented, but it's been wonderful to see all the generations coming together, so that's been something we've been very excited about. And then to build upon our transportation guide that we've had, we've also been working with Shaping Elizabeth to address food insecurity for seniors citywide. And what we've done is taken the city development block grant that we were awarded this summer, and we're creating with NJ-TIP a overlay, working with food providers in the city, all the different food pantries, getting a glean on how many of them are active and their information, so we can create a map overlay to the transportation guide that we already have out. So we're helping seniors not only access the food, but helping them get there and helping them learn how to traverse the city in a safe way. So these are all things that we're very proud of. I want to make sure I'm not missing anything because we have so much going on. We're going to continue the safety vest and walking safety presentations. We're going to continue our work with the senior safety days, but we're going to focus on, in May for Older Adults Month, instead on transportation and bringing a summit in with NJTIP as well, helping the seniors figure out how to get there safely, whether they're drivers or riders. And I think that's it. Some of the things that we're working forward with that we don't have exactly planned yet, we're advocating for the formation of a Senior Citizen Advisory Council, something that you see very widespread in every town as an avenue for people's voices to be heard and their needs to be expressed. And we're also doing a lot of outreach to reach those seniors that aren't as active in the senior centers, so through houses of worship, lifelong learning centers, and creating more practices that are age-friendly within our businesses locally. So that all to be said, I want to introduce our last team member, Carlos Herrera. He's a lifelong resident of Elizabeth, which brings such a wealth of knowledge to us, not only with people connections, but locations and just general knowledge of the community. And he's also bilingual, which makes us able to make our information that much more accessible and provide our presentations in both languages. So please welcome Carlos to the floor.
Hello everyone, good morning. It's actually really exciting to have AARP here and to have Elizabeth be designated as an age-friendly city, as a livable community. You know, growing up in Elizabeth, it gives me pride to be able to say that our city looks after our older adults and that we are all in this together as a community partners, as community leaders, and people who really do care about our older adults. But you know, we throw this word around, community, very often, but do we really know what community means? To me, community is more of just simple. A group of friends, a group of family members, a group of neighbors that are looking after other people. And we are looking after our older neighbors, our older friends, our older community members. And it is really something that cannot happen just a team of 3 people, or even just JFS in general. It comes down to our partners. And you know, we really want to take this time to say thank you to all our partners and look around the room and really just thank everyone who's here today. Thank you to AARP for being here and for being part of the celebration. Thank you, Fran, for being here from Union County, supporting us at that level, which is very important to us. Our older adults, thank you very much for being here. Muchas gracias por estar aquí. Nos damos, gracias por la oportunidad de trabajar con ustedes. We also thank Mayor Chris Bowledge, of course, for his never-ending support. We have Leonard Grayson here from the New Jersey Reentry Corporation. Thank you very much. And from the city. Thank you, Ted, for being here. He's always volunteering for all our events, so thank you very much. We have the Federation, Jewish Federation of Greater Metro West, and the Grotto Fund for Senior Care. We have Carol Villa-Fessler and Rini Carniel. Thank you for your support. The Lifelong Elizabeth team. We have JFS here as well. So thank you all for coming out here supporting. We have Jonathan Phillips from Groundworks Elizabeth. Thank you for your support. Kathy, of course, thank you for giving us access to a lot of older adults who are in the Housing Authority buildings. We have Elaine Corey here from Shaping Elizabeth. In case you guys don't know, they're a powerful force here in the city, and they've worked to make the city better than what it is through healthy initiatives, so thank you. We have Rosalina here. Very nice to see you from Trinitas. You know, they are on the front lines helping older adults when they really do need, so thank you for being here. Then we have Stu, our consultant. Thank you very much for being here, also being a part of the city and just having all those connections. So I hope I didn't miss anyone. Of course, the library for hosting us, and Vicky from JFS. Mary Faith, thank you. So Kathy for being here, taking all of this, make sure we get all this historic action right here. So thank you very much. You know, it's a community effort, it's a community project. And without you, we wouldn't really be able to say that we're a livable community now. So thank you.
Thank you all. I am now going to move along and introduce the reason we're all here is our funder, Rini Carniel, who's the director from the Grotto Fund for Senior Care. Thank you.
I'm going to have to use a little bit of notes, but so I guess in October of 2015, the Grotto Fund for Senior Care Child Foundation, Bergen County, came together and held a conference in Montclair. We saw that urbanization is a trend and aging is a trend, and New Jersey is a great place to live, but isn't a great place to grow up and grow old. So we wanted to spur the age-friendly initiative together. We were able to bring on partners from Rutgers, Emily Greenfield, and a lot of other experts along the road. And the last 2.5 years, what we've seen is 8 communities embrace age-friendly concepts and embrace the concepts that people that are like me and like many of you in this room, that older adults have value and that older adults need to have the best quality of life no matter what the community has to offer. I was especially pleased that the City of Elizabeth, led by Jewish Family Service, came to the table and said, we're going to take on the 4th largest city in New Jersey and make our community age-friendly. Well, we couldn't have been more thrilled. And we knew that the priorities of the community, the needs assessments of the priorities, were going to come out somewhat different from some of our other partner communities. In our case, South Orange Maplewood, and what we call Tri-Town, which is the Chathams and Madison. So we said, that's great. But we also you had passionate leaders, led by Tom and many others in Jewish Family Service. The commitment to the community was strong. The partnerships with people like Fran and the mayor and others was strong. And Jonathan Phillips, I'm looking around the room. We knew with Trinitas the partnership had been there through our last major initiatives. And we believed that if we could help our group pave the way, what we really hoped was that they would become age-friendly communities by AARP and World Health Organization. And we're so pleased that what you've done by building in greater safety, greater access to food, greater access to services, connecting with Shaping Elizabeth, which we knew was going to be the best thing ever, because together this was going to make this community stronger, that this would make this community a better community. All along the way, you had the mayor's support. Without the mayor's support, without the city departments, people like Alonzo, how are you going to make this happen? We also knew you needed volunteers, people like Ted, Ted's the one who said, you know, there is handicapped access to the library, but no one knows about it. So persistent Ted, there's a sign down there. So when you go out, take a look at Ted's sign, and now we know where to park and how to make our building accessible to all people. And for all of you that are like the older adults, this is important. We need this. We need this community. So I'm really excited to say you've done it. I'm also excited to say that you've just been awarded year 3 of funding of $75,000. Billet Fessler, one of our new council members and really actively involved, and David Levenberg is here. His wife is important, fortunately, but she's also a council member. There are 14 council members that we have that are in charge of taking the proceeds of the sale of a nursing home. It was sold 25 years ago, but the nursing home was established 102 years ago. So when the facility was sold, the money was to be used to make the lives of older adults better. So for those of you that came today, we hope, we believe Elizabeth is making your lives better. We hope all of you will join in with efforts going forward to make the community better and better. We hope together all of us can go to the State House and make New Jersey the 4th state in the nation to be age-friendly. All right, so it's New York and Massachusetts. Colorado snuck in last weekend. Okay, but help us make it the 4th. And help us continue the efforts in Elizabeth to make this city the best city for all of you. Thank you.
Okay, I would now like to introduce Lavelle Jones, who is the president of AARP New Jersey. Ms. Lavelle Jones.
I'm going to use the podium. Can everyone hear me? Yes. All right. right, excellent. Well, good morning, everyone. Again, my name is Lavelle Jones, and in my role as the AARP New Jersey State President, I am the principal volunteer spokesperson for our 1.3 million AARP New Jersey members and our 300 AARP New Jersey volunteers. My role also gives me the pleasure that I have today of welcoming Elizabeth into our AARP network of age-friendly communities. Mayor Bowledge, we at AARP New Jersey are so excited to be part of your journey towards more age-friendly and livable communities. We are ready to support your continued success. Ms. Cornell, once again, I have the opportunity to thank you and the Grata Fund for Senior Care for your funding of livable environments. Ms. Dispenza, Jewish Family Service of Central New Jersey is really a wonderful example of the kinds of community partnerships that really are critical to successful livable communities. And I also want to congratulate you and Margaret and Carlos and everyone else on your teams for using your management expertise in service to lifelong Elizabeth. Thank you all so very much. And of course, many, many thanks to all of the community members and volunteers who contribute their time and their talent to the program. They are truly invaluable and they are indispensable. I'm going to take just a few minutes, if I could, to give you a little more background on AARP's network of age-friendly communities. And I want to emphasize AARP's commitment to working with local leaders and volunteers as they develop and implement their own initiatives and plans. I'd like to start by answering the question, what do we mean when we say livable community? Simply stated, a livable community is one that is safe and secure. It has affordable and appropriate housing and transportation options, and it has supportive community features and services. I'm going to come back to these in a moment. You know, AARP has been doing work in livable environments for 60 years. In 2012, we launched the Age-Friendly Network for cities and towns throughout the United States that wanted to create great communities that were wonderful places to live for people of all ages. Why? Because the United States, like the rest of the world, is undergoing a profound age shift. Today, there are 46 million Americans aged 65 plus. By the year 2030, there will be 73 million. And by the year 2035, there will be more people over the age of 65 than there are children. And think about this. Today, in the United States, a child who's 10 years old has a 50% chance of living to the age of 104. Now, while it's true, we're all getting older, it's a different kind of aging. Today, more people are going to live longer, healthier lives, more engaged in the communities they currently reside in. Now, AARP's research shows that 77% of people who are over the age of 45 want to stay in their community. Now, of course, there are people who may want to move to sunnier climates, maybe Florida, Arizona. There are people who want to move to be closer to their friends and families. However, the majority of people want to continue leading active, healthy, engaged lives in the places they call home. Therefore, it's good public policy for communities to work at becoming great places to grow up and to grow old. Age doesn't define what people want and need from their community, because when a community meets the needs of its oldest and youngest residents, it meets the needs of everyone in between. We also know that livable, age-friendly communities work differently in different places. There really are no cookie-cutter solutions. That's why we at AARP provide the tools that help make the changes that people want and need in their unique communities. We help these communities address the physical and social barriers that may inhibit their residents from being fully engaged in the community as much as they want to be. We at AARP work at the local level. Our state offices work closely with key partners, organizations and agencies like JFS, educational institutions, activists, governments, and of course, volunteers. Now, as I mentioned earlier, a livable community has several elements. AARP's work is focused on shared outcomes in the following 8 key domains. I'm going to go quickly through them. Outdoor spaces and buildings, because things like parks, sidewalk benches, safe streets can be enjoyed by all. And buildings with innovative elevators and stairs can be more utilized by all. Public transportation, because driving shouldn't be the only way for people who want to be mobile to get around. And it's not just about having public transportation options, people need to know about it. That's why the Guide to Public Transportation in Elizabeth is an excellent example of how to make a community more livable. You provide a free, bilingual guide to transportation options, and you make it available to all residents in a variety of places. That makes it so much easier for them to use existing services that may just be what they need. So I want to give kudos and a shout out to the City of Elizabeth for doing that wonderful work. Another key domain is affordable and accessible social activities, because isolation can impact the old and the young. Affordable, quality housing. Housing that's suitable for varying life stages. Intergenerational activities, I heard something about that a while ago. They are so important because they can promote conversation and learning between the old and the young. Work and volunteerism opportunities, because many older citizens want them. Accessible and affordable health services. Let's face it, at some point, everyone is either going to get ill or have an injury or have a medical emergency. And finally, a variety of ways to keep communities informed and connected, because we don't all have smartphones. Now, once in place, all of these resources can help make people personally independent. These resources can allow residents to age in place and foster their engagement in their community. Now, I'm going to mention just a few of the ways that AARP supports the development of livable communities. We share information, and we shine a spotlight on creativity and innovation. We look far and wide to uncover and tell the story of how ideas become action. We memorialize innovation through our publications, such as our Where We Live book series. This is a series that highlights more than 100 ideas from a range of community leaders. The series recognizes that good ideas and solutions to push them forward often come from the local levels. So far, there are 3 editions in print, and there's so many more innovative ideas out there that we are going to issue another edition in 2019. We feature success stories on our website, and every week we release new content from our free e-newsletter. We also try to make it easier for communities to learn from each other virtually through our Facebook page and our Twitter channels. AARP also sponsors challenge grants. These are grants that give the leaders of quick action projects the motivation and the momentum to make even greater change. Now, all of the things I've just described are only some of the ways that AARP supports the age-friendly movement, the communities that are involved, and the leaders who make change happen. We also provide practical guidance and toolkits because we know that developing an age-friendly community is a process, and it typically takes up to 5 years. During the first 2 years, you spend time listening to the residents because you want to know how they want change to happen. Then you develop a plan, and then over the next 2 to 3 years, you implement that plan and you track your progress. Enrollment in AARP's network is free. The program works for communities of all sizes. It's open to cities and towns and boroughs and counties and states. In 2017, New York became the first state to enroll in the network. Massachusetts and Colorado joined after that. And I am very proud to say that since we launched this program in 2012, over 300 communities around the country have enrolled, representing 70 million Americans. Now today, I congratulate Elizabeth. Elizabeth is the 301st member of AARP's Age-Friendly Network. Give yourselves Mayor Goldwich, thank you so much for your vision and your leadership. Elizabeth will benefit for generations from the work that you've already done and the work that you're going to do in the future as a member of AARP's network of age-friendly communities. Thank you all very much. And now, on behalf of Stephanie Hunzinger, who is AARP New Jersey Director, Christine Newman, who is Director of Community Outreach, and the entire AARP New Jersey organization, I am so pleased to present to the Mayor the AARP Network of Age-Friendly Communities Enrollment Certificate. Yes, these are the folks who deserve this.
Right here, guys. Hey,
Thank you very much, Lavelle, for that presentation. More importantly, I thank her for advising all of us that we're going to live to 104. I thought that was kind of special, Lavelle. Thank you. I want to thank Jewish Family Services under the direction of Jill and Margaret and Carlos. I got to tell you, working with these three people makes my job a lot easier. When they first approached me about making the city of Elizabeth an age-friendly community, I said, this is great. How do we go about it? I said, oh, we're going to do all the work. I said, oh, that's even better yet. I got to tell you, they worked hard at this, and you know, they deserve all of the credit. I may be the mayor, but they deserve it. I also want to thank Renee. So thank you very much. The Grotto Foundation has been a great supporter of JFS from the initial contact when they got together, and the Grotto Foundation in helping JFS print the booklets, and in the city we reprinted another order. When I saw this booklets, I said to myself, you know, since I'm going to live to be 104, I think we should start getting these booklets out there. Now that I've reached the senior citizen qualification, I think it's absolutely terrific that the city of Elizabeth is the 301st in the country, and I like the goal of making us state that is age-friendly as well. But I got to tell you, Elizabeth has done a lot because of partners like JFS and others in order to make us age-friendly. I want to recognize Ted, a member of the library board here. Thank you, Ted, for your support as well. I just got to tell you, it's a good day for Elizabeth. Thanks to the Grata Foundation, and thank you, Lavelle. Thank you, JFS.
Thank you, Mayor Baldwin, and thank you, Lavelle. We're just going to take 2 minutes. Our Executive Director, Tom Beck, who none of us would be here or would be working at JFS or doing this without him. So I just would like to introduce our Executive Director, Tom Beck, please.
So first of all, I want to thank you so much for coming and supporting us in these efforts. We've really come a long way with this program. Really, Jewish Family Service has been out there helping people of Elizabeth for a long period of time as a result of funding from the Union County Division on Aging, Fran, and the City of Elizabeth and other funding sources. We've been able to provide multiple services to the City of Elizabeth. In fact, in terms of all the communities in Union County, the City of Elizabeth receives more services from Jewish Family Service than any other city or community in Union County. So thank you so much for your support. And I think Jewish Family Service has really been a natural organization to be involved in the City of Elizabeth, because I like to define ourselves, and this is how we are. We're a multi-ethnic, multicultural, multiracial, multilinguistic, multisexual organization in terms of our staff that are able to relate to the City of Elizabeth in so many different ways. And because Elizabeth is a diverse community, it was very natural for us to put this wonderful program into place. So I want to thank you, Reedy, and the board of the Grata Fund for providing the support, over so many years, and for really expressing your trust, faith, and confidence in us, because it really made a difference. Without you, it wouldn't have been possible to do this program, and our wonderful team, and lifelong, Elizabeth, you really did make it happen over the last year, so thank you so much. And again, to Fran Benson and Division on Aging, Jewish Family Service is able to provide home health and transportation and caregiver support and nursing service, social work, mental health services, all the wraparound services that allow people to age in place in the dignity of their own homes. And especially, during this time, all that's going on the national level, and, the conflict, that's happening, this is really the ideal program that really brings people together on a grassroots network on a local level. Because within this program, we've had so many community partners all engaged, working together from the ground up to really make this happen. So that's where the action is going to be, it seems like, in the next several years, because we really need to stick together and cooperate rather than compete. And it really, I think, is the direction of the future to help people live in place and be able to work together in so many ways. So thank you so much.
Reiterate, thank you all for coming today. It really is a day to celebrate and be proud of what a lot of people in this room have accomplished together. And really, that's the only way we could have accomplished it, by working together. So if you have a few minutes, we've got some bagels and fruit and coffee, and there's a slideshow running on my laptop and back with just some of the pictures of what we've done over the past few years, and thank you all.